hope you're ready to go to school. We're going to be taking a class. It's Soils 101, and we're joined by Marissa Lenkus. She's a sustainable agriculture specialist from ACC. It's a fancy title, but really what you're doing is teaching a lot of young people about, the basics of becoming farmers, right?
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you back on the show. It's been a while.
A few years.
And we'll be talking more about the program as we get underway. But tell me what the number one question the young people have.
People are very interested in just getting a foothold, how they get started. A lot of people live in urban settings and they want to know how they can live more sustainably. So we hope we can help them with that.
Soil management is job one, really. Let's talk about some of the basic kinds of things that people need to be aware of in what you're teaching your students when it comes to maintaining and building soil.
Absolutely. So it all starts with the soil.
Right.
That's the number one lesson. And you scoop up a handful of soil and it's not dirt. It's soil because it's alive. So that's the main thing. So really what we're doing as stewards of the land, as farmers, as gardeners, are feeding that soil and culturing the life in it. So that's what we all start with, and all the methods that we use are just to foster the life and the biodiversity in our soil.
Keeping the sustainability going, and let's talk about the benefits of that approach.
Absolutely. So kind of a conventional approach to agriculture would be to add outside fertility, whatever that might be, cottonseed meal or a synthetic fertilizer, tons of compost even, and just dump that on and get going. But that doesn't really address the issue. That's kind of like if you just were going to feed yourself granola bars only. It's more diverse than that. So you have to be...
This is a good analogy.
Thank you.
Right?
So a little familiarity with what's in your soil and how to best treat it gives you better crops and better health in the end.
Well, I mean, the soil naturally, in a natural state, whether it be a prairie or a forest, filled with diversity.
Exactly.
And so your inclination not to go with just one thing, as tasty as granola bars are, right?
And it's easy to do.
Exactly, right. And
Not always the right decision.
Silver bullets are neither, they don't come in fertilizer bags or in compost.
That's right.
So
right.
you got to know what you've got and then start kind of adding the different ingredients and building the life of that soil. And a lot of the folks out there, once they start to see this happen, then it really clicks, because you can see the life of the soil coming back and the difference it makes for the plants. Let's talk a little bit more about some of the techniques that you do teach. What are some of the specifics?
We do. So the special thing about our program is that we have a learning lab in the form of a farm on campus. So I teach, but I also maintain our learning lab, which is our 17-acre campus farm.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's awesome. It used to be a conventional hayfield. So it's Blackland Prairie. That's on the east side of Austin and further east, and it's traditionally a good soil because it's clay, and so it'll hold nutrition. But the prairie is long gone, and it's suffered from many years of abuse at the hands of just conventional growing methods, which are kind of take.
Extractive completely, right?
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
What can we squeeze out of this?
So when we started, we had very, very low fertility. Everything's been taken. So it's been a big process of rebuilding and revitalizing the soil, which is really an important thing for students to see on that ground level.
Tell me about the steps in that process. Tell me what you did.
One of the first things that we did was planted a cover crop.
Makes sense.
So cover crop, when we use that word, it's as opposed to cash crop. So it's something that we give to the soil and we leave in the soil. We don't harvest it. We just put it in the ground to rebuild. And so it's a really beautiful and natural way to start adding nutrition and fertility back to our soil.
Yeah, people don't realize it, but the plants and soil have an exchange. The organisms that live in the soil have an exchange that goes on constantly with the plants. The plants don't just take, they give, and vice versa.
That's it, yeah. So legumes are one that we talk about a lot. That's a well-known one. They, of course, can fix atmospheric nitrogen, which is amazing. So
Yeah.
rather than the cottonseed meal we were talking about, a
Right.
synthetic nitrogen fertilizer, doing it in a natural way is always going to be one of our pillars of sustainability. And whenever I have a question, or if anyone on their own garden has a question, you always look to nature.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
what we try to mimic. She knows what she's doing.
And there's a lot, for gardeners or for people who are doing large scale agriculture, there are lots of legumes to choose from. You can use
There are.
vetch, which is a common one that's commonly used in agriculture. On the home scale, you might even go with bluebonnets. Who knows?
You can do that, yeah. A
Right.
nice little lupine, and
Yeah.
it adds some beauty and joy, and that's what we're trying to do as
Yeah,
well.
and you may have them for a long time with
Yes.
the lupines as opposed to vetch, but there you go.
Yes, you might have vetch for a long time too.
Okay, so cover crops are really critically important.
Yes.
And top dressing with mulches as well.
Mm-hmm.
Any strategies or hints there in terms of what works best?
Well, one of the challenges is finding a mulch that's going to be affordable and accessible to you. So if you're fortunate enough that you can make that work, one piece of advice I would offer is to, if you're going the straw route, make sure it's straw and not hay, or else you'll have a hay field pretty soon.
Yeah, right.
But mulch helps. It keeps moisture in your soil, for one thing. And at the beginning of our conversation, we discussed that we have life in there. We have organisms, and they're mostly aerobic or oxygen processing organisms. And so they need air like us, and they need water like us. So when it's 100 degrees in the summer, it's hard for them to keep that moisture.
Right.
Mulch
a little
helps.
help, mulch too. Now, one of the things that people are really getting into, kind of the semi-agricultural, semi-gardening, is urban animals that egg
yeah.
chickens, etc. You're really into animal rotation. Tell me about
Yes.
that.
When we talk about, well, out at ACC, we have sheep. So when we talk about ruminants, they're made to eat grass.
Right.
Cattle as well, and often they're fed corn because they put on weight quickly, and
Yeah.
then they provide nutrition to us towards the end of their lives. But of course, they're made to eat grass. So if we were to just put them on one paddock, we know what happens if you leave a goat eating grass.
All right.
You're
Nothing
with
left.
dirt. Yeah, that's the end of your grass. So you have to rotate them off of there. So
Yeah.
it provides stable nutrition for them. It manages your land a bit better, or a lot better,
lot better,
actually.
right, yeah.
You're adding fertility to your land, of course, when you have animals grazing on it, stimulating new growth. And it also cuts down on the parasites that your animals will have
Sure.
if they're moved often. So that's one practice we use as well.
A lot of really advanced cattle operations now in the state move their cattle as many as 5 times a day.
Oh gosh, is that right?
Yeah, from paddock to paddock, keep them moving, treat them like a herd of buffalo. It's really,
That is
and
cool.
the benefit is really evident when you see the properties filled with plants, filled
Yeah,
with life, as
really
opposed to
different.
grazed down to dirt. We just have a minute left. I want you to tell me more about the program, and just so that folks are aware, and how they might be in touch if they're interested.
I would love to, thank you. Fairly new program, growing rapidly. We opened 2 new buildings in February for the agriculture program as well as the veterinary program. It's in Elgin, 20 miles east, easy drive from Austin, and we offer really a wide range of classes from introductory to more advanced.
Okay, well, this is the Austin Community College Sustainable Agriculture Program.
That's it, thank you.
And Marissa, thank you
Well,
for
thanks
doing
so
the good
much.
work and for spreading the good news of all these techniques to the next generation of farmers and gardeners.
Thanks for having me.
All right, and coming up next, we have our good friend Daphne.